Zastrzeżenie. Informacje i materiały edukacyjne zawarte w niniejszym dokumencie mają na celu promowanie ogólnego zrozumienia i dialogu na temat przetwarzania informacji przez GANS. Nie są one przeznaczone ani nie powinny być traktowane jako substytut klinicznego szkolenia, doświadczenia lub osądu profesjonalisty w dziedzinie opieki zdrowotnej. Dla pacjentów i osób indywidualnych informacje te nie zastępują profesjonalnej porady medycznej, terapeutycznej ani opieki zdrowotnej. Nie mogą one być podstawą do podejmowania decyzji dotyczących leków ani innych metod leczenia. Czytelnicy, widzowie i słuchacze powinni zawsze skonsultować się ze swoim lekarzem, a w poważnych przypadkach natychmiast szukać pomocy u służb ratunkowych. Informacje dotyczące recept, procedur oraz stosowania urządzeń medycznych powinny być wykorzystywane wyłącznie przez odpowiednio przeszkolony i certyfikowany personel medyczny. Zastrzegamy sobie wszelkie gwarancje, zarówno wyraźne, jak i domniemane, w tym domniemanie gwarancji przydatności handlowej lub przydatności do określonego celu. Informacje są udostępniane tak, jak są i uważa się je za dokładne w momencie publikacji. Jednak to odbiorca jest odpowiedzialny za ocenę ich prawdziwości. Każdy przedstawiony przypadek dotyczy wyłącznie osoby, która go doświadczyła i nie ma zastosowania do innych osób. Każda osoba mająca problemy zdrowotne powinna zasięgnąć profesjonalnej porady medycznej i skonsultować swoje leczenie z lekarzem. Opisane tutaj procesy balansowania plazmy są naturalnym procesem wspierającym organizm, ale nie zastępują porady lekarskiej ani terapii, które zastrzeżenie. To jest moje prywatne zastrzeżenie, w którym chcę ująć parę wątków. Nie jestem przedstawicielem Fundacji Keshe, a jedynie poszukiwaczem wiedzy, tak jak każdy z nas. W żaden sposób, prowadząc ten program, nie jestem związany z Fundacją Keshe, nie występuję w jej imieniu. Jestem po prostu gospodarzem samego spotkania, z zamiłowania i chęci podzielenia się tak wielką wiedzą i jej pięknem, które każdy z nas posiada na tak wiele różnych sposobów. Wszelkie tłumaczenia są naszą interpretacją tego, co rozumiemy z wątków tłumaczonych. I jakakolwiek moja prywatna działalność jest jedynie moją osobistą formą zrozumienia wiedzy dzielonej przez Fundację Keshe i nie ma i nie powinna mieć żadnego wpływu na interpretację Twoją lub działalność samej fundacji. Jeżeli wypowiadam się w tych nagraniach, są to wypowiedzi oparte o moje zrozumienie, osobiste doświadczenie, co nie znaczy, że MT Keshe miał to samo na myśli podczas nauczania. Dziękuję Wam za Waszą interpretację i zachęcam Was do sposobów podczas tego spotkania. No, witam moi drodzy. Dzisiaj jest 25 maja 2025. Kolejne spotkanie. W tym tygodniu troszeczkę wcześniej, o godzinę i tak te spotkania już pozostaną, więc ktokolwiek będzie chciał sobie dołączyć na żywo do naszego spotkania, zapraszam pod tym linkiem, który jest zawsze umieszczany pod ogłoszeniem o godzinie 20 w niedzielę. E, Prawdopodobnie istnieje też możliwość ewentualnych śród, ale środy są jak gdyby niestałe, będą one okazjonalne, a więc tutaj proszę po prostu obserwować przestrzeń i to, co na wiele różnych sposobów na tej przestrzeni się dzieje. Dzisiejszy program jest dość ciekawy. Będziemy przedstawiać tłumaczenie w wersji napisów bez lektora 590 warsztatu poszukiwaczy wiedzy, oczywiście Fundacji Keshe, prowadzonego przez MT Keshe. Jest on kontynuacją zrozumienia i dzielenia zrozumienia tego, co potocznie nazywamy czasem, oczywiście z wątków i perspektyw, ale jest to też nauczanie praktycznie sprzed 2 tygodni prawie, że, a więc krótko po konferencji w Pekinie. I tutaj jest dosyć ciekawa czołówka, którą też warto by było zobaczyć, usłyszeć i myślę, że też na wiele różnych sposobów podkreślić sobie pewne znaczące punkty chociażby tej samej prezentacji. Samych tłumaczeń mamy gdzieś około 1,5 godziny, moi drodzy, około godziny 9, czyli 21. Zrobimy sobie z 5 minut przerwy, żeby każdy mógł się gdzieś tam rozprostować kości sobie, czy jakkolwiek. I 21:05 będziemy wracać do dalszej części. Także moi drodzy, nie przeciągając dłużej, zapraszam.
Pushing. An amazing event happened on planet Earth in the beautiful city of Beijing, China. The cosmic ray technology was shown for the first time to the public by the financial arm of Keshe Foundation, the American Mark Ray Corporation, which is traded on the US stock exchange. Mr. Keshe himself went to China to show creation of materials from the magnetic fields by using obsolete technology, or what we call rotating gas reactors with electric motors. He's using these old reactors as a starting point for humanity to slowly accept the evolution of science and technology. For 3 days straight, the reactors were run and shown live on Zoom so that anybody from around the world who wanted to could come in and see. Black particles like dust start appearing on the white paper sheets around the reactors. These particles are being radiated through the reactors and the fields of the universe and the inertia of our planet. They are not coming from the room. There were 4 sets of pairs of reactors with red and green gases spinning in them. We were told they were not CH3 and CuO, but something else. They were set up in a star formation on tables inside the front windows of the Intercontinental Hotel. Anybody passing on the street could see them. White papers and spoons were spread around the reactors to catch the materials being formed from the fields. Some knowledge seekers were able to capture on video when black specks suddenly appeared on the paper, like out of thin air. It was very interesting to witness when energy first appears in the matter state. As time went on and the fields built up and changed strength, the specks formed into bigger pieces and some elongated, and some changed color into gold. This is the first time the public has been able to freely witness the creation of matter from energy. At the end of 3 days, Mr. Keshe collected more particles and showed everyone attending. An interesting thing occurred. When he touched the black dust on the paper with his finger, it turned gold. He said it interacted with the fields of the inertia of the earth through his finger. This phenomenon was written about in ancient times when the Greek god Midas touched things and it was said they turned to gold. What we witness here is how everything in the universe is created, from ourselves to the planets and even cancer.
Thank you very much. Good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation and Spaceship Institute. We welcome you back. And as Rick said, we had a very successful demonstration of technology in public. And we had a few hundred of Chinese knowledge seekers attending the session. And at the same time, this presentation was part of the financial arm of the Keshe Foundation, which is Market Corp, and not of the Keshe Foundation. We had a successful presentation, and as many of you heard, one of the largest contracts ever signed for licensing was signed on Saturday night in presence of all the knowledge seekers and with their permission. This agreement will lead to one of the largest corporations in China, backed by finances of the people who are in there, plus Keshe Foundation providing the technology and support of the knowledge. As you saw, the production of the material was kept open for people to see, and the conversion of the energy to matter. If Keshe Foundation was in the position of the anywhere like the University of Sand, it would be a big revolution in science. But as we are boycotted by Fox News and the rest of the world because we disturb the what we call the money stack of the whole process, is broadcasted, and in the future it will be as part of the teaching of the, I'm sure, many knowledges to come and knowledge seekers to find out. The setup was simple, what we call a star formation, one was, as you listen, and we soon will post a full session on YouTube in the next few hours, that we not only shown we can produce material, but we can stop material being produced. Technology which we never shown before. And at the same time, we do not discuss outside the framework of the Keshe Foundation. And then for the first time, many of you witnessed what we call one of the most advanced space technology systems which will ever be shown. The structure of the work of the Keshe Foundation. I'm trying to share, but I cannot share anything, unfortunately, on this. Just 1 second. Maybe I'm in the wrong phone, but just 1 second. I'll share with you. We've shown in the exhibition the most advanced space technology ever known to what we call man. The beauty with this is that we will not, or it will not stop us from showing this technology in public and, further sharing the knowledge openly. We showed the system, and we had a representative from military and members of the CPC turned up to see the technology. And it was interesting. For the first time, we could show something that I'm sure many of you have seen, and this is evolution in science. The system was shown to the knowledge seekers. This is one of the latest technologies which will change the course of humanity. What does it mean? It produces matter, it produces energy, it produces gravity, it produces magnetic field, it produces material. It creates an environment to sustain life. And what we did not show you, and you haven't seen public, it has a control panel like a flight control panel. 2 seats, like pilots controlling it. And it'll go through what we call trials in coming days. We started the trial before the exhibition. And this is the future of it. It's a solid state. There is no motors, there's nothing to interfere with it. And all the pipes and everything you see is control system to measure, to feed, to understand every changes. And it has extensive, elaborate, what we call measurement systems, fields, and everything else. And this technology is not and will not be in the hand of public for a long time to come. And as we showed this system, as I explained in the process of the exhibition, and we showed live with it, that this system has already produced materials, which means we are out of what we call the dynamic systems, and we have produced in a substantial quantity materials which will replace this dynamic system. As I said, the dynamic system is obsolete, as we showed in the exhibition. And some of these motors were shipped into China in 2023 for Chinese military demonstration of the production of material. And now, 2 years, 3 years online, is converted to this. There's no dynamic system in this. It's a total solid state. And as we saw, I was shown, the system has already produced material. As I explained in what we call in the section of the teaching, if you look at this and the powders you saw on the table, there's a big difference. This produces big chunks, and growth of the material is bigger, and they're not dust. And it's very much like creating meteorites. We have to develop this technology further and further in the coming time, but it's the huge breakthrough in the science. And this system, in its own condition, will create everything the man needs in space. It's the size of a football, maybe smaller, maybe larger, but has an integrated system inside it. It's taken us 40 years to develop this. The next step to this is to build within it a brain with the soul, with the emotion, which we can do. The knowledge is there, we've done it, but now we're trying to create a condition of the soul, which does not need a brain. But in a way, if you connect this to AI systems of the computers of today, then most probably will run themselves forever because you can feed it, it doesn't need any outside energy sources and the rest of it. In a way, we should thank the Chinese community, especially the people who helped us to bring this technology in open. And at the same time, we will change the course in the coming time with many, many things. To sign agreements in the market corp. We are not there to run factories. We are not there to run operations. We are there to provide technology, research more deeper than feedback. This technology, this exhibition of the production material will move to other cities in the coming time in the next few months. Most probably Washington, and then we'll go to London, and we go to other capitals, Tokyo and the rest, to bring the change as we put more things out, we develop more. And as I always said, this is the beginning of the knowledge. It is not the totality of knowledge. We just start learning. We haven't even learned the alphabet of the knowledge of this space. But it's a good point. We've shown in one of the most prestigious positions in China. And now we see the next step in development as the time comes. Going back to the teaching and what we started with and what we do good, and we are very good at it, is explaining the conclusion of the science and what we call the future of man. In the past few weeks, we talked and we taught about what we call time. Maybe to you and many knowledge seekers, time is something just as there. I have lunch, I have break, I have time to meet and the rest of it. But the process of a time is one of the most important factors in the world of creation. What does it mean? As we say, we have the place, you have the position, and you have a position, and with it you create time. Place is the body of the man. The place is the body of the man. The position is muscle tissue of the heart. And gravitational magnetic field of the structure of the amino acid, let's say 2 Tesla and 1 Tesla gravitational and 1 magnetical, that it gives us what we're looking for. When the energy finds the place and the strength, then it creates a life. The time of that cell starts in that position of the body. The structure of the brain of the man, the structure of physicality of the man has dictated what strength this material will arrive. The body of the man has created the condition of what will be in condition in respect to his environment. And the position has decided that how this will interact between the outside and inside. Then the life of the cell starts. The appropriate time which the body can interact with the environment outside to be able to keep safe the cell and the body, the internal organs of the body, needs a given field of strength that this cell can last 28 days on the skin of the man. Now you see how the time played. The time is decided by the strength of the magnetic field of the cell, decided by the magnetic field of the environment surrounding the cell, and then decided by the body which contains that cell. So the interaction of the tree decides 28 days the skin cell will stay, or the heart cell will go. Then we understand how the glands and thyroid gland works, how thalamus and other part of the body dictate what energy goes in there, that the energy given to this, what we call the lymph, at this position of the body, as the skin of the man, in the body of the man, will interact and live in the environment of the totality. Once man understands this, time plays a main factor even in the life of the man. What you give to the soul of the man, then the soul of the man gives the soul of physicality of the man, which creates the interaction of the physicality of the man with his environment, that dictates how many years man can live. So if you can increase the magnetic gravitational field, the strength of the soul of the man, the integrity of the soul of physicality of the man, you have increased the lifetime of the man. On the other hand, when you have what we call monoenergetic systems, very much what this means is that in this matter, in this condition, we have a condition of composition, 28 days dictated by other bodies which are not the same. Cell in the body of the man, which itself lives in an environment. When you come to, let's say, a condition of the magnetic field of the matter state, which is all the same, more or less everything is the same, every cell is the same, combination cannot change, then the totality of the combination of the cells, or what we call atoms, in respect to its environment, has an ongoing and ingoing. What it means now, the position is the stone or the metal. The position is being which within this structure, and then the magnetic field, the position. And this rate of in and outgoing and a balance between the cells dictates a fixed time, because the surface is too big. The structure of the molecules energy is too high, then dictates inflow and outflow, which can be fully balanced because it's there, you cannot change it with it. This we call in the world of the physics half-life decay. Then again you see how time played. The strength of the magnetic field of the cell in respect to the structure of it and the environment with place, position, and position dictates time. Now one understands, if in the world of even nuclear we create a stronger magnetic field in the environment of the cell, we can change the half-life. The half-life given on this planet by the scientific world is in the structure of the magnetic field, gravitational field of the planet. Even the argument has been always that is a half-life the same in China, and is a half-life the same on the top of the Everest, or is it a half-life the same in the bottom of the ocean? Because it's so fractionally so, we haven't had so accurate system to measure this. But in fact, the environment dictated by the planet Earth, which affects the half-life of the atom on this planet. Then you see the structure of the time, if one understands, can be changed. If you create a condition of the different gravitational magnetic field in the environments of the nuclear materials, you can change the half-life, because now you change position, or you change the magnetic field of the position, or you change the magnetic field of the place. In the future, world of science will be able to, in a way, develop technologies which, with this position, place, and a position, new life in the dimension of the man will be created, what we know as cosmic ray radiation. In the laboratories of the Keshe Foundation, we already produce this radiation. The technology, the know-how is in our grasp. We have in a way developed the technology to do so. But for man to understand the future of the space technology, man needs to understand time. You cannot have a time travel, but you can travel in time. By changing gravitational magnetic field strength, you can change, in a way, dimension, the position, and the rest. The reality is, one we look at, is very simple. If I keep the place, which is the body of the man, I change the position, change it from the cell in the heart or the cell in the skin on the cell in the kidney, or change it to a cell on a bone of the man. It's the same lymph. It's how, which magnetic field spectrum of the lymph was used by the thalamus to create the position of the and magnetic field strength of the cell that will cover that position. Could be cell in the bone, could be cell in the kidney. And now we understand how even our lives in our body is controlled and created, where we eat all the food into our stomach, we change it to energy and lymph, and then the lymph, according to the field strength and the change in the strength of magnetic field of the lymph spectrum, will allocate given field spectrum to a given position, and the place is the body of the man. Then the life of the cell is dictated. Now we understand how we live as humans, how our body cells are created in a time, place, and position. Then in a way, when you create a magnetic field in this condition, in this position, once the cell is created in a given environment, then the energy, once it's vacated, will be filled up by what is to come in as even the spectrum. This is what the world of science has not understood, and maybe it's good to understand now. When we see a magnet, as I said, we see many, many fields going out of it. Each of these fields is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, and 10, and 20 Tesla, let's say. Between 5 and 6 Tesla belongs to the heart. Between 10 and 11 Tesla belongs to the bone. So when we receive a lymph, then on the spectrum of its strength, the position and the position and the time starts, which means a full spectrum. When we talk about in the world of the science of the man, there is 1 trillion, let's say, cells in the body of the man, then the lymph has 1 trillion magnetic field strength combination, which the magnetic field combination of, let's say, 1 and 6 makes the cell of the inner skin of the muscle. And once it's dictated in the condition of the fields, is replaced immediately by creation of the replacement of the field energy. What this means once you move one, another one replaces. And if you understand this process, and if you become familiar with the working of it, then you see what I always said. You will give me a man with 2 kidneys, which one is gone missing, you taken out. I create a place, position, and I can create that kidney. The time starts when I get all the factors right, when every aspect of the plasmatic magnetic field of the what we call the lymph has decided. In a way, if you look at the thalamus and thymus, all they do in combination with each other, they decide which is going where and what magnetic field is needed to increase 1 to number 3 or 1 to number 4. So now you understand how in the world of creation, time is the most important factor, because it's not by the element itself which decides the life of a cell. It's not by the element itself which decides the half cycle life of an atom. It's the interaction of the field of it with its place and position, and a position which dictates the time. Can we change time in the future? Can we bring the time by increasing or changing one of the 3 factors of the place, position, and the position, and create to see how that cell in the future, in the same given environment, will show? In fact, maybe we might be able to do it for a few hours or a few days, but if you understand the gravitational magnetic field of the Earth continuously is changing, you understand the gravitational magnetic field of the what we call the position where the man is continuously changing, it will be very hard to predict and to travel a man in time of itself to the future of itself, because you have to create all increase or change reduction in gravitational magnetism of the place, or increase in dimension of the magnetism position, that by change of the position you can create a new time. In this process, man will come to understand time does not exist. Time is zero till, in fact, the combination of the place, position, and position is clarified and is fully understood. In the future, man will be able to use this to create time, to live and be able to exist in different plane of time. In a way, you can coexist in 3 dimensions of time. If you can create that all cells of your body can interact with 3 dimensions of magnetic gravitational fields of a new place, new position, or new position. Spiritual time, in the coming time, will be one of the most important factors in the life of man in space. In fact, what this means is very simple. You do not need to time travel. By creating the right gravitational magnetic field of the position, you travel the time. This is how we see stars in the universe instantaneously. As the time is zero and is instantaneous, this historical claim of the 10,000 light years is for those who have not been enlightened, and they live in a matter state. In the energy state, is instantaneous. It's dimension of understanding of the totality. And in so many ways, man will come to understand the reality about the creation, the creator, and the process of the creation. Once man understands the game of time, then you understand why in the past we always refer to star formation. This is how the stars are created. This is, in fact, if you understood, you can, by measuring the field strength of your soul, dictate, understand where he'll have his position, where he'll have his possession, and where he has his place. This is why man will change. If you go back into the teaching of past years, with this knowledge and technology, man will change the face of his conduct, because he knows if he's moving away further in a place from the Creator, or a closeness to him, to be loved, to be receiving more of. And this will affect the future of man, because he still be in the, what we call the position of this universe, and this position of magnetic field dictates the time from its creator, dictates the position of its creator, dictates the condition of understanding the totality of the work of the creation. Life without time does not exist. Life without position of the time cannot be and shall not be, and it cannot be done. In a way, you decide the position. Just 1 second, please. I have something happening here. 1 second. So one, with this process, understand what we've been teaching. The star formation is not just for a space travel. Star formation is travel in time. If you are physical, you create the UFO. If you understand the process of the soul, you can create the time. And if you understand this process, then you understand how the structure of the presentation in Beijing was set. In a way, each reactor was loaded differently. In a way, everything was set to create a time. And the center reactor is the creator of the time. In flight, it becomes the top reactor, where the field strength being equal in all three will dictate where that position of the soul shall be and what time that soul will be in that position. In a way, synchronized three, you dictate the time, which is the present, and which is physical and is in manifestation. But if you learn in the future to play with different factors of time, then you can fly the span of the universe, universe, and right through every position to the center of the Creator's heart by just changing one position. Because you dictate the strength of the field of the time, the position of the time, and when the time starts. This is rather important for us to understand that now you had the option to go with the donkey. You had the option now to go with the UFO. You thought those people in the space are so advanced that you can travel with the energy of the soul. And if you understand this, you can travel at a zero time. As the time does not exist, so the field, the strength of the soul of the man dictates its strength, and which of the millions and billions of field strength within it is. Either way, if you choose the field strength of the, let's say, 1 to 10, it will manifest in time 1. If you choose to use the higher strength, 1 to 20, you manifest in 10 to the power of the 10 minus. Because you're going up a higher order, you move closer to the Creator. In a way, when you are in that condition, you give more, to receive more. And that gravitational magnetic field of the time and the place will affect the time of manifestation and the position and the place. In the future, I will explain this factoring, or order of magnitude. And then maybe in another time, we'll teach you why men nowadays live longer. Because man is playing with a factor in life. We are eating higher rich such as materials which carry a higher strength magnetic field, which this in change increases the time in the life of the man, moves it further, for the whole system to collapse, for the soul to be free. In a way, man is buying himself time, but what it does not do, the possession, which is the physicality of the body of the man, in the cell of the structure of the man, and the place which is this, what we call the man, found the balance with his environment. And once man finds that balance, man will live for thousands of years. And this is why the soul of the man is limitless in time, because he knows what to receive. In that time has not much to lose. So the field position always of the sign of the teaching. We open to words. If you're interested in physical life, I give you the UFO. If you're interested in having what has been hidden from you to work within the what they call the dimension of the man, but the dimension of his energy, talk about the soul. And if you really want to live in the dimension of the creation and the creator, the time, how he has created, how to create, and in a way, if you understand this, time in the whole of the universe is zero. We become observer of the position of the fractional field that goes back to one thing, that which field the stuff came, at what position, what place to create the time. Where it begins, and they changed their mind, the scientists, in 4.5 billion a few years ago, and is it trillion of years? And only sees one phase of the time. Rick.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
No dobra, moi drodzy, ja nie wiem, co się dzieje. Nie wiem, widzieliście teraz tą ostatnie 5 minut?
Nie w ogóle wyrzuciło Zooma w końcówce.
No właśnie.
No bo się tu jakieś cuda mi się dzieją, jeżeli chodzi o Zooma.
Mhm.
W
Coś w
ogóle nie
ogóle
wiem, o
jest
co
chyba na
chodzi.
łączach internetowych, bo albo łączy, albo jest słabo głos, ale to nie tylko tutaj, jak się łączy też, jak się łączy z innymi na Zoomach prywatnych, to tak się dzieje. Może robią coś z aplikacją, albo jest coś z łączami internetowymi.
Mhm, mhm. No ciekawe, bardzo ciekawe. To zostawmy to tak, jak po prostu było, bo ja nie wiem, gdzie to wszystko się powyrzucało teraz. Zróbmy sobie 5 minut przerwy i wrócimy do kolejnej części. No i zobaczymy, jak ta kolejna część pójdzie wtedy, dobrze? Czyli wracamy o 21.
Okej.
Dobrze, moi drodzy, to wracamy, więc zapraszam na drugą część 590.
Okay, we're back again at the 590th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And usually Mr. Keshe will have something to say before we engage into the question and answer period. Is that true, Mr. Keshe? Are you there?
So we have a lot to say yet, a lot to share. Those of you who are going through this journey of the flight system, we have announced the May, June, and July sessions that you can fly with your captain. We tested this last time, and some of you found your captain, some of you saw the group, or some of you traveled with your group. And so we are strengthening what we call the strength of our pilots in a way more than the passengers, for them to get more used to how to handle. The May, June, and July will be a very strange, what I call, experience for many of you, as we will change the structure of the system that you've been used to. We bring in a new structure into play, hopefully, that will be much more in line with the energy of what we call central energy of the man, the soul of the man. What this means, we will move you into the flight system, which you just seen for the first time we showed. We'll take you into the dimension of the field of one structure, which then you decide the manifestation and the time zone and everything else you play with. And hopefully we reach a much closer, what we call, collaboration between the pilots and the passengers. And from June on, we will split the sessions that each captain has time with his own passengers. You don't need to say, I wasn't there, I'm not there, I wasn't there from the beginning. It's like a pilot and an aircraft, and different passengers join in different time. You can join at any time and go through the experience of understanding. We release what we call the alphabet of the captains, for them not to be exposed publicly so much, that you can choose in a way pilot 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or 6, or 7, and then we group you into that you don't pick up favorites or somebody I know, because we noticed in the last time women tried to be with our only captain after the woman because they thought they can trust. In the time to travel, we have to trust everyone, because all the souls who become the captains are pure. They are not tainted, and they have no professional, because they deal equal with all. So this month, May session will be again training our own, what we call, pilots. And then in the session of May, June, and July, we'll bring in the different game that will allow our, in a way, captains to become much stronger in their own decision making. Then you get on the plane, you never choose which captain you want to have a ride with. Why should you have that option here? So if you book for May, June, July, then as usual you'll be sent, as it was done last time, a choice of captains. You choose, and then we allow you to fly with that captain in the next couple of sessions. The process of the production of material in China, as we saw in Beijing, as I said, will be repeated in a number of nations in coming time. And it'll be appropriate for us to advance inform you. I'm working on one condition to take this exhibition, to take this into Africa. We are working in the background, and I'm sure some of you will know where we land as we're working to, if the time comes right, to be shown and to be part of the what I call the flight structure, production of materials, and everything else. We can answer any of the questions you have, and I hope we start bringing a massive change in the whole operation of the Keshe Foundation worldwide with what happened in Beijing. There is something, if you are very open-minded, you should understand that the exhibition in Beijing was not put up to gain any contract, but we were negotiating on this agreement for some couple of months beforehand, and we knew it would come to fruition that time during the what we call the exhibition. So exhibition was a place for us to show the completion of the agreement with, and in public with you, because those of you who were present in the exhibition, in the conference, in the afternoon, in the evening, you saw the people we are dealing with, this well-established organization, and in a way was to show a completion of the cycle where you know where the technology goes. Most probably when we appear in Washington will be the same. We have come to an agreement with the major corporations in the United States and the Market Corporation, and the same will be in Moscow and the rest. When we come to an agreement with the government or with the organization, we'll show the exhibition and the signing of the agreements. As you see on the finger, it's called many people tried. The 2 or 3 hours session of the production of the materials. Within the next few hours, we'll go on the YouTube of the Market Corporation section that you all can go and see. And it allows and it brings us to the point of the whole structure of the working for us. And we'll see how we can bring this into a bigger scale operation that most people around the world can see and taste and test the materials. If there are any questions, please go ahead and we try to answer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. I'll remind our attendees here that they can raise their virtual hands and we can acknowledge you to open your microphone. Let me see.
No questions, we can go home.
It's pretty seldom that happens. I don't think ever. In our Q&A, let's begin with a question from Andrea from the German community. Good morning, Mr. Keshe and everyone. At first, congratulations for the breakthrough in Beijing. It was wonderful to see the enlightenment in the facial expressions of the people. I have 2 galactical questions. First, you keep talking about planet Zeus. What is the plasmatic secret or special thing about this gas planet? Incidentally, NASA found out with the Juno probe that there are thunderstorms 1,000 times stronger on Earth due to ammonia.
Where on planet Zeus? They found the planet Zeus. It's good. That doesn't make sense, the question. Where did they find 1,000 more?
Yeah, strong. It must have been 1,000 times stronger on Juno than on Earth. I guess is the way, due to ammonia. Yeah, that would be ammonia on is it Jupiter? I think that Juno is probing.
The reality is that we can create any amount of energy at will at any point in the universe. It depends what I call condition of the friction of the fields in respect to each other. And how much is the field dropping from one level to another in the energy spectrum of the Tesla magnetic fields, as you call it. And finding 1,000 times, 100,000 times, what we call storms or lightning, is just understanding the process of how the fields are aligned with each other and aligned against each other. With new knowledge gives understanding, this should be no surprise.
Regarding that, I've got a question for you regarding the creation of gold in the universe. That the scientists are saying that it's from collisions between neutron stars or between or explosions or eruptions from a magnetar star, which is some of the latest that's come out in the media a couple of weeks ago. And it was due to a scientific paper that they discovered that these magnetars, which they've only observed a few of them, there's extremely strong neutron star material, and when it erupts, it creates heavy materials, gold in particular, and that percent or the gold in the universe was created, and that the gold on the earth has been here since a very long time ago, and so on. How does that reconcile with the way that you look at things from your perspective?
If you read what these papers, most of these people say, they say it, but they don't understand it because they look at it on the matter state and not the energy state.
Well, it's like you were saying that first they had a approximate age of the universe at, what was it, a couple of billion years, and then it suddenly became 12.5 billion and keeps jumping up. So they say they are confident in their predictions, and then a few years later they're proven to be wildly off.
If the world of science understand, actually, if the world of physics understand what we showed in the Beijing exhibition, you can call one of these reactors a supernova star and call the other one dwarf star or whatever they could be. Because when we talk about these entities, they're not there sitting there. They're dynamic and they interact with their environment. And if the interaction of the field of what they give, whatever strength give, is in interaction with the field of his environment, creates a residue of magnetic field, plasmatic field, which is of gold. Gold will manifest itself. Does not need to have a superstar. Was our reactor superstar? Blah blah. Tiny little thing. So they don't understand. They have to fantasize. We understand. We materialize, and that's the difference. They come up with every possible imagination. It was very interesting. I monitor many chats, many chats all the time. I spend time to see how knowledge seekers are advancing, understanding what I need to teach later on or whatever. And I, as you know, I have this, what we call WeChat with my Chinese telephone. So I was looking at just constantly going through the Chinese chat, one of the Chinese chats. And this guy totally, utterly tried to be very clever. Obviously, he came from where he came. He came to the exhibition, we don't know, whatever. And he went and put on the Chinese channel that these three are brushless, and this one is a brush, this is that, and this is all fake. And I answered, the one which doesn't produce is an empty reactor, so we don't expect it, but it creates fields. And in a way, those who don't understand anything and find a field to talk nonsense, they do because they think they understand. And it was very easy when, if you notice in the presentation, I deliberately opened that reactor, brought it up and showed to you that it's empty, it's got nothing. So there is no dynamism in it. And if we put it in a certain condition, cannot produce material. How come the other ones which had a liquid all produced? If it is brushes, if it is nothing, so it should have been nothing with the rest of it, or all the same would have been the same. So we have to understand the world is full of nonsense people, and they try to confirm their existence. And we haven't heard from the guy on the chat. I haven't seen him back again. And we answer it scientifically. We answer it in a way of the way it is. So if you look at the reactor I show, which is empty, there is no dynamic field to interact, but there is a solid field. There is a lot of knowledge behind setting these things up, that it creates a facility and feasibility of the technology. And when I set this reactor in that position, I told to the knowledge seekers around that this is not going to produce anything because it's just a gravitational system. But again, gravitational system, what it means creating a shield, we don't see any material in that direction. So when they tell us that such a supernova created so much gold, it can only create gold in respect to what is the environment magnetic field has been, that the balance energy is the plasmatic magnetic field of gold. Then all that star creates gold. The star itself, the galaxy itself, whatever supernova itself, cannot create gold unless its field internally unbalanced with each other create plasmatic field strength of the gold that in respect to the inertia of the environment of the universe manifests itself as gold. There are two, the place, the position, and the position. And this is very interesting because we set out to make this clear, to set out to bring this in balance and banner of understanding with everything which goes and everything which sets. Understanding the technology, not just doing it for showing it. As I said, we have many gurus that they cannot eat. We have many people who can lift themselves, but you try to teach another person. People who try to learn these things individually on their own, they are there. They are what I call odd ones. In Keshe Foundation, we try to develop a technology that every man can benefit by it. And it has to be done step by step. It has to be by understanding it step by step. Why can't we all fly? The thing is now, as you see next time in May, you have 7 captains. Then in time when the captains get enough confidence, they bring 7, 10, 20 more captains to me. And this is how we start the school of space travel, the Enlightenment. But we back it with the technologies, not just them. They're backed heavily by knowledge systems in the background. They connect to, you teach. And then, in a way, us becoming the runway, and they're becoming the aircraft, and they're becoming the pilot. The knowledge has to be understood and not accepted the way the rubbish comes out of this scientific organization due to the lack of understanding. They have found a star which will, why does it produce cold? You've seen it, we produced it, and how many of you touched it? If you look at the video 2-3 hours in Beijing, we didn't say this is gold and we held it back. We took it to the people. People touched, people put it in their mouth, put it, rubbed it on their skin. This is technology. This is the proof of the concept. Not, oh, we saw something, we know we create the energy of the gold, and now we are certain because we are a bunch of liars, and we confirm our lying because we have access to publication. No more powerful way could have been done than it was done in Beijing this week. We created it in front of you, we set it up in front of you, and you came and you touched it, you tasted it, you felt it. This is how knowledge has to be. Not hidden in patterns, not hidden in all sorts of things. I created gold in front of your eyes. Very soon I'll manifest Christ in front of your eyes to see. And all the prophets which you believe in, for them to finish all these wars. Because man only believes when he sees the master. And that part of teaching, to manifest Christ, Muhammad, and the rest, is part of teaching of today, if you understood. We travel into the time. And in time, you shall see the energy fields of those who match with you to see. Somebody said to me, how do we know this is Muhammad, bless his name? I said, it's very simple. His clothes are still with the Saudis, bring it to dress him. This is the way technology has to be. Tested, tasted, and put to total examination, and those and nobody understands. We brought the machines, we said what they do, you saw the material, and now there's a spoon of it. 90 spoons of material has been distributed among Chinese. When we bring the part of the world, you all have the chance to do. On the screen, you see the gold on my finger. That's where I came from. It's called knowledge seekers. You've seen how many of them I took the material to people to touch. One guy who was at the front, this is the guy who was writing all the rubbish I think before. But oh look, this sticks to my camera. It's an iron. I said, guy, this is a plasma. It's magnetic. It sticks to anything. It's plasmatic in the matter state. It sticks to my hands. And then when he rubbed it, oh, it's cold. I got cold on my camera. How can the gold magnetize when it's supposed to be iron? When people don't understand, you can abuse it. when people understand there is no abusing, there is no profits. Any other question?
Okay, thank you. Can you tell me more about the cloud far of the Kuiper belt? What is the meaning or characteristic of this cosmic creation?
You saw how the material is made. You saw how we create condition. So if anybody tells you how it's made, measure the magnetic field. You can create out cloud. And if you can replicate the magnetic field, the strength in that direction and dimension. It's as simple as that. You don't need to add. Now, you give any rings, ring of Saturn, ring of blah, 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 whatever. Because when they baffle you, they can abuse you. When you are knowledgeable, they cannot abuse you. So we pass the position of the baffling. Outside rings. Some of them we know, some of them we don't see, some of them we haven't measured yet. These rings exist around every planet and every star, and even galaxies have rings when you look from outside in respect to their position. So what happens? Like very much what you see as the rings there, you go across the mining area where they dug a tunnel or cut part of a mountain and you go through it, and you see different color soil. There is no difference between this and this, the rings around the planet. Because the gravitational magnetic field of this layer has dictated where this layer is going to be. You understand? So, if you want to see the gravitational magnetic field of this, is most probably the creator of this ring. So the rings around the planet Earth are dictated by inner structure of the inside the planet and its inertial material or the gaseous materials. If you read the paper about the creation of the ring of Saturn, which I've written, I don't know if it's not published yet, it's in there. Dr. Lessons was writing, doing it the last before it gets published, before we went back to Belgium. And so what you see as these rings, if they measure gravitational magnetic field of it, and they measure the gravitational magnetic field of the planet, and in conjunction with the inertia, what material are in there, you find out this ring has direct connection with this position. So whatever name you put on it, if this name, gravitational magnetic field, creates a cloud over planet Earth, so it here has the same condition to create that cloud because the environment of the solar system allows it. And this is very simple because we have to understand in a space technology, we come across these barriers and we have to find a way. And this is why part of the space technology handles this part of technology, space travel. So they give you belt this cloud that Hammer these other things, once you understood how everything is created, then you understand even how the ring of the Saturns are and everything else, which I've explained extensively in the paper called The Ring of Saturns. Somebody asks in Farsi, how can you ask a question? Let me see what it is. Just put your question here and we translate. I'm just putting a message there.
Okay, let's move on to the second question in the Q&A, and we have another question in the webinar chat from Stefania's group as well. And we have a hand up as well, but let's address George's question first in the Q&A. It says, Mr. Keshe, some time ago there was a case in the Netherlands about a knowledge seeker who has built a special maggrav that made people from around it to feel, let's say, dizzy. Have stopped that experiment since it wasn't very ethical. But since the cosmic ray material has so many advantages in plasma balancing, and because it is such a precious material, very hard to obtain and single user only, would a normal maggrav with built-in cosmic ray material be beneficial for every living thing within 100 meters radius, thus helping in plasma balancing multiple users in one goal? The point is to make cosmic plasma ray available for as many people as possible with the least equipment possible in the shortest period of time. Thank you. Are you there, Mr. Keshe? We're not hearing your microphone.
The use of ray in respect to the trials we do and the systems we use, we stick to principle of one person per cosmic ray per unit, because it carries the intention and the emotion of the person, and you cannot tamper with it. And this is part of our work. This is what we do. This is what has to be understood. In the future, when we create new systems where we feed through the cosmic rays, which we connect to the universal cosmic rays in a different way, in a way will change what we call the composition. Then many people can use. Technology is not at that level, and we cannot produce material at that level yet. Maybe in the future, next 6 months, 12 months, and the things which are happening might bring us that position much faster. Any other question?
Okay, we have two hands up here. I'll I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. MA81Me, May81Me. In any case, would you like to go who you are, where you're from? Hello?
It's the Iranian lady. Let me handle it. Let me see what's like.
It's very
ببخشید
hard to
خانم
hear.
میشه بلندتر صحبت کنید؟ هلو هلو ببخشید صدای شما رو نداریم. الو بفرمایید. صداتون رو نمیشنویم، درست نمیشه فهمید چی میگین. بریم بیرون دوباره بیاین تو، شاید درست بشه. It's got a problem, I don't know. Oh yeah, she's gonna ask her to go out and come back again. Okay, go to the next one, please.
Okay, we have Marinez with the hand up as well. Would you like to go ahead, Marinez?
Yes, thank you. Good day, everybody. Good day, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for all you have done and achievements in Beijing exhibition. And my question is, if the dark matter, small m, that turn to matter, finger of the person, it's another person with another intention and soul emotion, touches that dark matter, does it become another element instead of gold?
Supposedly yes, but as we all carry the same amino acid, no. We haven't become so good at in changing emotion with the fields. But as you saw, maybe 30, 40 people touched, tasted, because there was a woman at the front was putting it in her mouth, and I was just couldn't stop laughing. The field strength of us as a magnetic gravitational position and the place was all the same. So the outcome is always gold. But interesting is black. Most of it, when you look at it, is black. Even we if you would have read this backsheet, can you silent this one till I answer this, please? Then everyone who touched it could feel the gold, the touch of it. But this is a gold in the energy level. To convert it to a matter level is a different game. And the work of the Keshe Foundation is not to produce matter, it's to produce the energy of the matter, because then as we go teaching about time, you understand how important it is to produce energy of a matter than the matter itself. And anyone on the Earth atmosphere condition, the very, very few small pieces were just gathering to become gold. If you touch it, and then you see it becomes as from the black to gold, because you change the conversion of the energy to what it is set to do. And when you are in the same environment, the same position, the opposite place in the position, it ends up all this to be. But interesting, as he says in the presentation, is black. When you touch it, it changes to gold. If you understood most of what happened this weekend, or last weekend, we have fulfilled the promise of Christ, Muhammad, and Moses. When a man gathers the knowledge, reaches the knowledge, can change the elements. And we have changed from water to gold. So one of the biggest prophecies, biggest promises of the holy books has been fulfilled. At the same time, it's done so openly that no one can deny it. And the way it's recorded. And this is where the game change comes. The next step, the manifestation of the position, and if you understood the position and the place, then you can be in New York, I can manifest you in London at the same time. Then the game changes.
It's so amazing for man to realize that maybe we are kind of used to by the things you said during years, and even creating gold with the hands. We understand, we comprehend it. But for people who are away from this kind of teachings, I think it takes time to realize.
The world
So,
of science has already understood. I was talking to just before we come on teaching. Don't live on coincidences. We announced a couple of weeks ago, and we showed last year, we showed the gold very recently. How come suddenly organizations like CERN start saying that they can produce gold? Energy, they can't show it. They have seen energy of gold. So you got to understand, we are pushing the boundaries of science, and a lot of people not be able to do it, have to lie about it, creating to be there because it's there. It's very much like what we saw with the biggest thief of science, Stephen Hawking, with the black hole papers and many other knowledges he stole from other scientists. They have to be the center of lying attention, and that's how they work. So it takes time, has to be a system, people understand it, people produce it, and then we can move on to the other position and places in the universe. I'm sure none of you could guess 3-4 weeks ago the time will come that we speak about the time. And now you understand how precious it is and how easily it's created. Because you got to understand, I brought this much of time sitting at the temple across on the 3rd floor of Queen Mary College with Professor Leslie. He looked at me in the eyes and says, Mehran, nobody understands this. Even for me as a professor in nuclear, sitting in front of you, I have problem to understand it. But it makes sense. Excuse me 1 second. I used to have a lot of discussions like this with Professor Leslie, because my own tutor, Dr. Shaw, was forever drunk. He couldn't answer me. And as in the final year, 2 of my topics were taught by him personally. It was him and me, and that was a classroom, sitting across the table from each other and arguing and discussing. And time, because I could not get the scientists in Queen Mary or doctors and professors who were around me who could talk with, what's the half-life in nuclear reactors, nuclear? I said, this doesn't make sense. Half-life is absolutely, if we don't understand the structure of it, it's just a word we made just because we haven't understood the science of it. But now you knowledge seekers here understand it. None of you is nuclear physicists, and none of you is engineering time. But because you understood the essence of the knowledge, now you understand how half-life is. What's the reason for its half-life? I answered the question of the time half-life when I was maybe 10, 11. Because it made sense. It could explain how half-life is. What's the reason of it? Why we have all of them within 10 seconds, 1,000-year half-life and the rest. The question was, if we take this material in another position and place, would it still have a half-life? The same. And if I increase the field of the environment around, let's say, the place or the position, would I extend the half-life? What is half-life dictated by? And then I could explain scientifically on the table to Professor Leslie. And he said, it makes sense, but how are we going to explain this to humanity? Those days, nuclear was fresh. It was taught man to man, face to face. Research paper is still wet, coming up from the basement top. They were trying to teach the second generation, third generation to become. And now, you knowledge seekers, in a very simple way, understand how time is created. So now we can travel in time. And then what happens to us who we travel in time? We are not time travelers. But if we change the time, change the field of strength, we can travel in time to the position and the place, see the future of our soul. Do I want my soul to be in this horrible position, so far away from the center of the universe, away from the creator? Because we can measure the fields. Or I change my behavior because there's a standard. This is it. This is 0 point, the creator. Now work hard to see how closer you can get to him. In the coming time, man will make machines to measure the position of his soul in respect. Is he more in heaven or more in hell? And heaven, in a way, border of the heaven and hell is earth, because this is where you are. Are you going to go closer or are you going to go further? Is that hell or is that heaven? And we see what gravitational magnetic field, the environment of our soul is. We know the condition of the fields of that, same as this ring of the universe from the center is. Then we can say, oh, I have moved further out the ring of the earth, which I'm supposed to be. This is the ring of the energy of the earth. And my soul, I've been such a nasty mother, has moved there. This is hell. And nobody could explain it. Nobody can explain it. And then it could be one child born, served through the soul, not the physicality, sits right there. I said recently, the soul of the Pope, which passed away, the most criminal soul we know, he is somewhere most probably around here. I think Hitler hasn't reached the place where the soul of the Pope is. And we need to understand these things. Now, what he says is the day of judgment is for us to judge. Now the knowledge is there, the technology is there, and we have made the technology not the thing it just one man does and thinks I can do. We can measure. Earth has a gravitational magnetic field opposition. How far you moved in, or how far you moved. You moved to help yourself, or heaven being closer to the Creator. And what you're going to do with the rest of the life left to be there. Philanthropist with the soul is a very difficult job.
Yes, if you permit, I have another question. Because with you, we can ask any questions. Well, we know that, I mean, most of us, some people know that with energy, plasma or chi, we can follow the energy circulation and kind of heal the body by opening up the places blocked or closes places which was too much active, etc., etc., and some breathings and all that, so we can heal the physical body. And for psychological part of the man, can we, with energy part of the man, the soul, can with energy part follow the flow of mind and cleaning it up, enlightening up, so that people who have psychological problems can kind of get enlightenment over these things and be healed.
And there is something very interesting for partially those of you who understand. As we say, we can take the horse to the water, but we cannot make it drink. We can give the knowledge, they can see the knowledge, but it doesn't mean that they're enlightened. And enlightenment of the soul is the same as enlightenment in physical life. No difference. It's just how we understand the environment which we are in, how much we understand of the interaction of the environment we are in. That's where the enlightenment comes from, not by reading and teaching and studying. Let me see what MA81 me has.
No dobrze, moi drodzy, to akurat by było tutaj na tyle z tłumaczeń. Cały warsztat może nie jest przetłumaczony, ale zdecydowana jego część. Tutaj zostało dosłownie parę minut, które nie są przetłumaczone. No, moi drodzy, jestem ciekawy, czy ktoś ma jakieś wnioski lub chciałby się czymś podzielić na zakończenie tego spotkania lub po prostu puścić jakąś puentę. To zapraszam bardzo.
Ja mam pytanie w sprawie wystawy w Pekinie. Mieliśmy ustawiony reaktor. Jeżeli miejscem był Pekin, posiadaniem i pozycją, tak myślę, ale nie wiem, czy dobrze, posiadanie dusza kontynentu, a pozycja dusza fizyczności Chińczyków.
No, myślę, że gdzieś to jest, ma to sens. I tutaj pewnie kwestia jest. Ja nie odpowiem na to pytanie, bo ono jest zbyt głębokie, ale myślę, że linia myśli jest gdzieś tam w tym kierunku. To zależy, który system rozpatrujemy, prawda? Myślę.
No i stworzony czas, czyli czas ten nowy, wiedzy, nowej wiedzy, czyli oświecenia. No tak w moim zrozumieniu, ale no nie wiem, jak to miało naprawdę wyglądać. No i fajne też było drugie zdanie, a znaczy pod koniec, że teraz jest czas na manifestację pozycji. Manifestacja pozycji. Więc już teraz wiemy, co będzie w Berlinie albo w Paryżu. Bo wiemy już o Berlinie i o Paryżu.
Mhm.
No to było wcześniej, tak?
Rozumiem. No.
No troszeczkę wyprzedzam tutaj jeden warsztat dalej z tą Francją i Niemcami, ale no tu było to zdanie znaczące, bo generalnie tu jest no wykład główny dla mnie, to jest taki manewr między materią a energią materii, że to po prostu nie da się opisać. To jest po prostu coś fenomenalnego jak dla mnie. Więc naprawdę no ten wykład też był magiczny. Zresztą każdy jest. Ale było dużo tam rzeczy, które by fajnie było przegadać, no ale na pewno nie tutaj, nie? Bo już czas goni.
O, może czas nas nie goni, ale kwestia jest tego, że później takie te siemce się ciężko ogląda, nie?
No dokładnie.
A żeśmy to gdzieś tam przerabiali, a już mamy prawie 2 godziny, więc. Ale i tak fajnie, dzięki za koncepty, bo właśnie o to chodzi. Właśnie mamy poszukiwać tej wiedzy. Szukać jej i też myślę, że wątek taki, że jak gdyby z jednej strony gdzieś tam się pokazują tłumaczenia warsztatu do przodu, a my jesteśmy jeden do tyłu, to też jest takie trochę schizofreniczne, bym powiedział. Ale dobrze, bo przynajmniej jest pewien kontrast też ciekawy i fajnie, że to połączyłaś. Dzięki bardzo. No dobrze, czy ktoś jeszcze by chciał zabrać jakiś tutaj element głosowy, czy po prostu kończymy? No myślę, że cisza mówi sama za siebie, chyba że znowu Zoom zbzikował gdzieś. Dzisiaj, szczerze mówiąc, 2 razy dziwne rzeczy się zrobiły. No ale mniejsza z tym. Może to przez to, że wszyscy już w czasie podróżujemy. No, zobaczymy. Dobra, moi drodzy, to co? Dziękuję Wam bardzo. Życzę Wam udanej końcówki niedzieli, a przede wszystkim udanego tygodnia. No i co, kochani, widzimy się na przestrzeni. Pozdrawiam i
Dziękuję.
Dzięki, dobranoc.
Dzięki,
Dobranoc.
dobranoc. Dobranoc.